Okay, brother. What encouraged you personally about the sermon?
I think just a good reminder for me that like the work that we do is worth doing and doing well. So.
Okay. Trevor, what's going on this week?
I just enjoyed your one statement. Jesus is faithful for all eternity. You're comparing with Moses and how he did a faithful job at his work, but Jesus is faithful for eternally, and just kind of reminded me of his continued work for us. It was encouraging.
Yeah, just encouraged with the reminder of Jesus' much greater deliverance. Good, always good to hear.
Yeah, similarly, that the greatest of the Old Testament, Jesus is even greater than him. Everything he did was better and forever. Just the thought of who my Savior is in that respect is very encouraging and helpful.
So along with what everybody else has said too, I really appreciated and was helped by that last piece where you were talking about how Jesus doesn't ask us to be superheroes, but just to hold on and to keep going. So appreciated that and was encouraged by that. So having said that, what could you have done to improve? Or where do you think there's most room for improvement as relates to your sermon?
There was some nerves going into this, just like preaching into something where like it's not a church setting kind of thing is kind of on. I think I was moving pretty quick. I think I could like slow down for sure. Some of this like it's because I didn't have enough time to think through it, but I think like some of my like I would have liked to have like spent more time like making it touch down and lands more. I think like some of my main points are like high theologically, but that's not bad. It's just like I need to spend more time like thinking through how it like touches down on people a little bit.
Trevor?
All right. I think the ending could have been a bit more a wrapping up kind of thing, a summary, a review, something like that.
Yeah, so at the beginning I got better Savior, better Steward, better Son, which I thought were going to be your points, and then you said what the work is and why the work. And so then I was like, which one are those are the points?
Sure.
And then, so which one are the points and like where are the divisions that you had? I was just trying to navigate that.
Yeah.
It was a little confusing.
Yeah, and along with that, maybe this can help you too. Like, you repeated the second ones, but if you went and repeated the ones you're going to use, that usually, in my mind, is like, I'll go, okay, I'm slowing down, I'm repeating this, they can hear it better, and it's just a mental reminder of me, myself, to slow down, because I speed up too.
Yep.
So you said it and everybody else has sort of alluded to it too. You had 11 minutes left.
Yeah.
So you definitely could have slowed down or developed your applications more. But I think that the stance and the body language, just even the speed. In other words, if I close my eyes, your voice is not unpleasant at all. I mean, it's engaging, and even though you could have slowed down, it wasn't like it was so bad or whatever. But the nerves piece, in terms of either figuring out how to hold on to the podium as opposed to putting your hands in your pocket.
Yeah.
Or doing something else with your hands, I think would have been helpful in terms of number one, calming you down, and then number two, just not distracting from your voice. Because to me, and other people might have a different opinion, but I could hear you. I mean, I could listen to you for much longer. There's nothing wrong with your voice. And even though you could have slowed down, that wasn't as per se distracting as the rocking back and forth. Because then that did signal nerves, but your voice sounded like confidence. But now I'm looking at you like, okay, well, why is he nervous? He's saying very confidently what he's saying and making a really good argument, I find. But we'll talk about that later. Keep going around.
All right, and then my second one was, I think, kind of what's been stated a bit. I'd written down 2 points, but then I think you might have broken it up into 3 with verse 5 and 6 at the end there.
Yeah.
So just maybe a bit of clarity there.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, speaking of the points, I just got hung up on the points. Yeah, I think you explained well what the work is, and the other thing was you said at the beginning why the work. And I don't
I think that's like poorly worded on my part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just like waiting on the why.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
One, I mean, you had a good point where you said no matter what you've done, you can be a part of this household, and you've kind of made that idea like you can be a part of this, you can be a part of this. But my question drawn on was how? How can I be a part of this?
Cool. Yeah.
Like, what gets me to that? So like just one sentence more, bridging that gap can just do miles of work.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And so I think the sermon could have been helped too, though it was clear what you were arguing. There was parts at the beginning where you were talking about in essence the benefit of holding on to what was old, but it made me think, okay, well, isn't part of the problem in Hebrews that they're tempted to go back to the old?
Yeah.
And I think there's a way you probably could have wordsmithed it differently so that wouldn't even have been a thought.
That's fair.
Because that was stuck in my mind at the beginning. Because it was like, okay, how's he gonna work this out? Don't go hang on to the old, but they were tempted to go back to the old.
Yeah.
And maybe old could have substituted something for the old.
Yeah.
Or flesh that out a little bit, because that was like a mental hiccup. Not a mental hiccup, but a mental sort of obstacle for me.
Sure.
Once you got into your argument, then I could follow you. But at the beginning, that sort of threw it off a little bit. So, what did you do well, or what were you trying to do that you think worked fairly well for you?
I think the general, like, I had like a hard time thinking through just kind of like the shape of the passage. And I think like at the end when I started writing it, like something like something like clicked and like I was kind of stuck on this idea of like how Jesus is just like better than Moses and that's it. But like I think like when I just started like thinking a little bit more about like the household language and then thinking like why is Jesus better than Moses? It's because like he's finishing the household of God. Then like everything kind of clicked and I was like, all right, I can kind of like make a good argument from here. And like everything seems to fall into place at that point. I think for at least from like the feedback I'm getting from you guys, like it seems like it was like worded poorly at times, but like the argument was like clear, and like that's like good to hear. So yeah.
Trevor?
You're good at talking in front of others, man. And you kind of like the racehorse just like shot out of the gate, and you were just like full on, and you just you're right. It was like, you know, high or whatever. A lot of like great truths that maybe didn't always touch down, but like those great truths, even just in themselves, you know, captivated me. I was like, wow. Like I was struggling to keep up. Not because I don't think it was fast, but I think it came across clear in that. I think it's just like I just have to know the scriptures more in that. But no, I enjoyed how you just you did a good job. A little more specifically, I enjoyed one transition where you said something like why Jesus and why not Gandhi or these other people, and I thought that was, as savior, you know, what makes him special, and I appreciate that connecting point.
Yeah. I thought you did well in just sort of teasing out this Moses deliverance and certain examples from his life and ministry to Jesus' greater deliverance and what he has done, teasing that out, and then obviously with the analogy there with the Bruce Lee and the trainer was good. It's helpful for us to see and understand. What?
One at a time, dude.
No, they went together. That's there's a comparison.
I thought when you went to that whole not asking you to be a superhero, that was like a huge shift where you started talking directly to us and giving us really, really like, this is what this passage is calling us to do. Consider him, hold on. And I just thought that was a good call to us. And it just was helpful for engagement.
In addition to what you've already said, I thought the argument was exceptionally clear, and that there was no fat anywhere in the sermon. I mean, it was lean. Obviously, you had more time, so you could have developed more, but the time that you did spend, there was nothing extraneous. There's nothing, I don't know that there was anything that you could have possibly cut out, because it was just sort of, I'm not using the correct words, but the best thing I can say is there was nothing extra. It was very direct and clear, you know, as you were preaching it. So the clarity and the concision were definitely there. Let's go around one more time.
Yeah, I also appreciate that connection with Mormons, and you said you empathized with the unbeliever, just to say, you know, for you guys to leave this and come to Christ, it's leaving everything, and that's a good empathy, and I often lose track of that and come down a little hard on the unbeliever, and so that was a good connecting piece there.
Yeah, I mean, I just really enjoyed your argument. It was already said, but it was just, it's not an easy thing to get a solid, short, memorable argument. So that was, I mean, it's just really good.
Yeah.
In the beginning, after your introduction, you talked about the original audience, and I thought the way that you talked about them was super helpful, and just saying like, these people were tempted to throw it all away, and then you like moved into your argument, but Jesus is worth hanging on to, and I just thought that was very helpful for like people to understand their situation, and then just moving to us too.
So I thought that the intro worked really well, and your illustrations. They weren't just the intro as well as the illustrations. It's not just that they were good; it was that they did what you were trying to get them to do, and that's not always easy. Sometimes you gotta have a good illustration and you can fumble with it, or sometimes you can know what you want the illustration to do, but it's not really a great illustration. And I felt that all of those, from the If Man piece to in the intro, and there was another one. I forgot where I wrote it down, but even the Moses and Jesus comparison, that run, I thought was done well, and it was a good move to make. So I thought it was a good job. So next time you got an extra 10 minutes, nah, just kidding.
Carry over.
There's no carry.